My name is Gianluca and in this video I'll be talking about the country Ethiopia. And Ethiopia is actually a low human development country because compared to other highly developed countries, it isn't doesn't have that much development going on right now. Uh, so in this video, I'll be talking about the four sector circular flow, which is presented right here, and I will be mostly talking about the business sector and the foreign sector, and not spending time on the government sector of this diagram. Also, I'll be talking about the business cycle. So this business cy- uh, cycle is with actual output and potential output, and yeah, I'll just be referring to detail later. So, the Ethiopian national flag. And so let's start out with the sector of the four sector circular flow. Um, so in the business sector is represented by investments, which is the injection, and saving, which is the leakage. And but the to before I go on, I just want to say that the investments in a fixed capital and savings in a fixed capital isn't uh, exactly like the investments and savings in a four sector circular flow, but because it comes close to it, it's a really good representation of what I want to explain. So here's for the the sector where investments and savings are in a four sector circular flow. So investments are injected the four sector flow and go around this flow, but they don't stay there because this is not uh, a model. They actually leak out. But households save their money and sometimes their money, and so that's where it leaks out. Um, so Ethiopia has both investments and savings, and saving being the leakage. And so what savings does is it's banks gaining money from households, and these households save money instead of investing it. Okay, so if we do the calculation over here, we see uh, we minus the savings from the investments, and we see that the overall is percentage is negative 33.6%. This will actually make our this flow expand, and uh, this is because it's negative, and let's think about it as a balloon. Think about you blowing into the balloon from the investments, and there's a hole from the savings. If you blow more than what it's leaking out, the balloon will overall expand, but it will not get big enough to pop because there's always going to be that small leakage, and this is what exactly what the circular flow model is doing. So the next that I said I would explain is the foreign sector, which is exports and imports. And this is the diagram. It's basically the same thing. It's basically that the exports come into the circular flow and they just go around it. And the thing is that the leakage now is imports. Imports will let will leak out of the circular flow. Now, I know some people have difficulty of understanding why exports and imports, why there are leakages and injections, but think about it in terms of money. So, in export, money is actually uh, uh, gained because Ethiopia gives goods and services to other countries, and those countries pay for those goods and services, which means money enters the circular flow. Instead, for import, Ethiopia has to pay for goods and services, which means that the money is actually leaking out of the circular flow. If we do calculations like the previous slide, we see that uh, the there's a positive, and which means that circular flow will actually um, get smaller. Next is the business cycle. So the business cycle is basically this, and this is for Ethiopia. And what it is, it's real GDP in current US dollars versus over time. And we really see Ethiopia, and this is the right now drawn right here, is the potential output of the real GDP. And really, we really see that Ethiopia doesn't always meet this potential output because if you think about it like running, you first run really fast and then you kind of go slower to save energy, and at the end, and then afterwards, you go faster. And this is what Ethiopia is doing. It can't always have that same potential output, and now it's expanding because the because in the previous circular flows we saw that imports and exports is getting smaller, and which means that the real GDP should decrease. But actually, because the investments and savings circular flow is expanding, we see this expansion in the circular flow. Thank you for your time.